All right, yeah, the one you've all been waiting for. Well, I say all of you. Any one of you, any one of my 21 and counting subscribers. I appreciate you all very much, and I appreciate that one person who, within 8 minutes or so or less of viewing my last episode about the Indo-Trinidadians and Toboggans or Tobogganians. Yeah, sorry, Toboggans is something to do with it's basically the Australian version of a chav. Sorry to say that word. There's nothing like that. But yeah, so this last one of the week is going to be about Sir Thomas More, or rather, his book Utopia. And Thomas More was quite influential. He was a Lord High Chancellor. He was very influential. I think that's probably why he was killed, and probably in maybe he would have caused some kind of upheaval with the English people, at least. With how he was quite advanced and progressive for his time, for someone who was living 500 years ago. You know, associated with the Tudors. He was a Lord High Chancellor. Believed everybody should get along, be equal. Um, and he was the author of a book called Utopia, which is arguably the probably the first known officially recognised science fiction novel. If you think about it, I mean, yeah, fuck it, if Aldous Huxley's Brave New World can be classified as a science fiction uh, story, then so can Utopia, which precedes that by a good 400 years. I mean, this was written in 1519, and it's basically it's supposed to be like an allegory for I guess you know you know minor GB, yeah, like yeah, basically it's to stop my rambling and going off course, or whatever, or risk going off course. It's basically the idea. I haven't read it yet. I aim to at some point in my life, but it's basically the it, Sir Thomas More proposes the idea of what if there was an island, at least an island nation that was um, equal. Everybody got on. Everything was supposedly hunky dory, as Tony Soprano would say. Um, but yeah, I think yeah his writing was pretty much like, I think he was depressed by the goings on around him, and I mean, not long afterwards he died anyway. He was executed. I think the book might have had something to do with it, but the book still lives on 500 years later. What does that tell you? It must have influenced, you know, the likes of, Aldous Huxley, uh, probably Lemuel Gulliver. Well, no, Jonathan Swift, who did Gulliver's Travels, maybe. Um, well, the sci-fi fantasy stuff. Maybe even Philip K. Dick, with all his kind of stories, where it's about the ways society can be shifted and can potentially go wrong, and not necessarily wrong, but it's like if people have a problem with the way society is. How long does it take for things to shift and all that? But yeah, I'm going to include the references in there to Utopia, and also, yeah, for you Doctor Who fans out there, of course, you'll know the episode Utopia where it was the return of the Master. Um, and also, if if you've listened to the Big Finish audios, that's Derek Jacobi's master, Professor Yana, who was the War Master. Yeah, Derek Jacobi, brilliant. Probably my favourite master in what's called New Who. Because in a weird way, like Paul McGann, he kind of bridges the gap in terms of those incarnations where he could easily fit into the classic series and also just fits right in with the newer stuff too, bringing all that nuance in there. I mean, it's not a. I'll be a contrarian. It's not a fantastic episode in the long run, with all the connecting stuff and the all the what's the word? Dad uses it all the time when he likes to debate, or where I get it from. Convoluted, yeah, all that Yana stuff with the face of Bo, and then John Sims, Master, and all the rest of it. But yeah, Derek Jacobi, superb, overlooked. Maybe not overlooked actually. I think he just appears in the right things. Knows when to when to not to kind of stop, but when he sees a project, he just goes for it. Sort of like Nicolas Cage in that respect. Likes look at something, he'll do it. And Linus Roach, who were both in a terrific weird film called Mandy. And Jacobi, yeah, he's always good in stuff. Cadfile, which I was binge watching on ITVX one time. He also did a really good, and I'm not really into these kind of things. Good adaptation of Last Tango in Halifax, which I think it's an Alan Bennett play, maybe, like the History Boys, which is partly sort of where I get my channel name, my username from, as a little reference, because he's also from West Yorkshire, like I am, more or less. I say more or less. The more or less thing being the areas, slightly different. But yeah, back on it. Yeah, about Jacobi. Yeah, he's also in it, kind of an underrated comedy called Vicious, which is more like like a like a more classic kind of comedy thing where it's in front of a studio audience. It's he's half of a gay theatrical couple. It's Ian McKellen, who he's married to, and they're friends with uh, Ewan Rayon. I'm not a born and bred Welshman, so you know. So I apologise if my pronunciation is absolute cack, or whatever cack is in Welsh. But we all know him as one of the crew of Misfits, where they all get superpowers from some weird event, and also the depraved Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. But yeah, apart from that little bit as filler for the last 5-ish minutes, that was the penultimate episode of this week's Fun Facts with Liam about by Sir Thomas More, about Sir Thomas More's novel Utopia. And be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and all the rest of it. And TTFN, ta-ta for now, as a certain character from A.A. Milne's books once said. Well, a lot. Bye.